Planning a trip to France? If your itinerary only says Paris and Eiffel Tower, we need to talk. France is packed with breathtaking hidden gems that most travelers completely overlook. And in 2025, there are even more must-visit spots waiting to be explored. In this video, I'm revealing the underrated destinations that offer stunning views, incredible food, and way fewer tourist crowds, so you can experience France like a true insider. No overpriced coffee, no elbowing through selfie stick mobs, just authentic, unforgettable adventures. So if you're ready to upgrade your France trip and discover places most tourists miss, stick around, because these hidden gems might just be the highlight of your journey. 1. Annecy, the Venice of the Alps. If Venice and the Swiss Alps had a love child, it would be Annecy. This picture-perfect town is all cobblestone streets, canals that make gondolas jealous, and pastel-colored buildings that look straight out of a Wes Anderson movie. It's got that fairy tale charm without the overwhelming tourist chaos. No offense, Venice. But sometimes a guy just wants to enjoy a canal-side stroll without bumping into 500 selfie sticks. What's there to do? Oh, just casual things like wandering through a medieval old town that feels like it was designed by Disney, renting a bike to ride along Lake Annecy, which, by the way, is so clear you'll wonder if someone installed a giant Brita filter, or eating your weight in raclette and fondue. Pro tip, don't wear tight pants. Cheese-related regrets are real, and you'll want room for dessert. And if you want a truly unique experience, visit during the Annecy Venetian Carnival. It's like Venice, but without the sinking feeling, literally and financially. Imagine masked figures in elaborate costumes floating through the town, making everything feel even more magical. Plus, let's be real. Dressing up like a mysterious 18th century noble is the best way to avoid awkward eye contact with strangers. Now, let's head to a region that's perfect for wine lovers, but without the tourist crowds. 2. The Alsace wine route. Fairy tale villages and world-class wine. If Beauty and the Beast were real, I'm 99% sure Belle's Village was inspired by Alsace. This region is basically a living fairy tale, with cobblestone streets, half-timbered houses covered in flowers, and vineyards stretching as far as the eye can see. It's like someone sprinkled Disney magic over France. But instead of singing teapots, you get some of the best wine in the world, which, let's be honest, is an even better deal. Unlike the overly commercialized Bordeaux region, Alsace is still a hidden gem, where you won't have to fight hordes of tourists just to get a sip of Chardonnay. So why Alsace over Bordeaux? Simple. Fewer crowds, more charm, and wine so good it might just make you fluent in French. The white wines here, especially the Rieslings and Gewürztraminers, are legendary, and you don't need to be a sommelier to appreciate them. Plus, the villages along the Alsace wine route, like Riekeweer and Eguisheim, are straight out of a storybook, with their pastel-colored houses and medieval vibes. One minute you're sipping a crisp glass of wine, the next you're convinced you should quit your job and open a tiny vineyard here. Don't worry, it happens to everyone. Pro tip, rent a car, or if you're feeling extra adventurous or just plan to drink a lot of wine, rent a bike to explore the vineyards at your own pace. Just be warned, navigating those winding village streets after a few tastings might feel like you're in an Olympic obstacle course. Either way, your Instagram feed is about to look very sophisticated. Up next, a hidden beach paradise in France you won't believe exists. 3. Pluminac, the pink granite coast. The French Riviera gets all the attention, but what if I told you that France has a beach destination that looks like Mars, and the Maldives had a baby? Welcome to Pluminac, home of the pink granite coast, where the rocks are blushing harder than a first-time tourist trying to order croissants in French. These naturally pink-hued formations have been sculpted by wind and waves for centuries, creating a landscape so surreal it feels like Mother Nature decided to show off. And the best part? Unlike the overhyped Riviera, you won't have to sell a kidney just to afford a sunbed. For the adventurous traveler, the Sentier des Douaniers hiking trail is an absolute must. It's a scenic coastal walk that takes you through cliffs, hidden coves, and panoramic ocean views that will make your Instagram followers painfully jealous. Along the way, you'll stumble upon secret beaches, perfect for a quiet dip or just pretending you've discovered a new planet. And don't worry about getting lost. Just follow the pink rocks like they're nature's version of a red carpet. Because let's be real, if France had a most photogenic coastline award, Pluminac would win every single year. So, if you want to trade overpriced Riviera cocktails for untouched natural beauty, this is your spot. Forget fighting for elbow room on the Côte d'Azur. Here, You get front row seats to a coastal masterpiece. No VIP ticket required. Now, let's trade beaches for castles. This next place is straight out of a medieval fantasy. 4. Château de Chambord, the fairy tale castle. Without the tourists, everyone flocks to Versailles. But let's be real, between the selfie stick battles and the feeling of being herded like a touristy sheep, it's not exactly the royal experience you imagined. Enter Château de Chambord, a fairy tale castle that's just as jaw-dropping, but without the overwhelming crowds. With 440 rooms, 282 fireplaces, and a roofline that looks like Hogwarts got a French makeover, it's a wonder how this place isn't completely overrun. Oh, and did I mention it was originally just a hunting lodge? King Francois I really set the bar high for weekend getaways. The highlight? The mind-bending double helix staircase, supposedly designed by Leonardo da Vinci himself. That's right. While you struggle to assemble IKEA furniture, Da Vinci was out here designing staircases that let people ascend and descend without ever crossing paths. Pure genius, perfect for avoiding awkward encounters with that one travel buddy who's getting on your nerves. The gardens? Massive. The views? Stunning. The tourist chaos? Non-existent. So, if you want to experience French royalty vibes without being stuck in a sea of tourists, Chambord is the way to go. Plus, your Instagram followers will assume you discovered some secret, untouched castle because nobody ever talks about it. Next up, a hidden paradise for foodies that even most French people don't know about. 5. The Dordogne, a food and nature lover's dream. The Dordogne, where medieval villages, rolling vineyards, and mouth-watering cuisine come together in perfect harmony. Think of it as France's best-kept secret, where castles casually dot the landscape like someone forgot to take down their medieval Monopoly set. And if you're a foodie, congratulations. You've just found your personal heaven. This region is all about duck confit, so tender it practically falls apart in your fork's embrace. Black truffles that cost a fortune but taste like pure magic. And walnut cake that will make you forget every bad dessert decision you've ever made. But Dordogne isn't just about stuffing your face. It's also about jaw-dropping scenery. Picture yourself paddling down the Dordogne River in a canoe, gliding past cliffside villages that look like they belong in a Renaissance painting. It's a workout and a history lesson in one, because nothing makes you appreciate ancient architecture more than realizing people actually built castles on cliffs, without power tools. Meanwhile, you're just trying to steer your canoe in a straight line. Priorities, right? So, if you want delicious food, fairy tale landscapes, and fewer crowds than the French Riviera, the Dordogne is calling your name. Just don't get too distracted by the food. Tripping on a cobblestone while daydreaming about your next truffle-infused meal is a real risk. Now, let's talk about a stunning French island that feels like the Mediterranean's best-kept secret. 6. Île de Porquerolles, France's hidden island escape. If the French Riviera had a secret love child with the Maldives, it would be Île de Porquerolles. This tiny island is so stunning, even seagulls vacation here. The best part? No cars. That's right. You won't have to dodge aggressive scooters or hear the honk of an impatient driver. Instead, you'll be gliding around on a bike, living your best breezy, sun-kissed life. What can you do here? Well, for starters, you can lounge on Plage Notre Dame, a beach so pristine that even your Instagram filter will feel unnecessary. Not a beach bum? No worries. There are vineyards to explore, trails to hike, and enough scenic views to make your phone's storage weep. Plus, without the constant buzz of traffic, the only thing disturbing your peace will be the sound of waves and the occasional existential crisis about never wanting to leave. Pro tip, arrive early in the morning before the few tourists who do make it here start claiming their sunbathing real estate. And if you spot a restaurant offering tourist-friendly menus, turn around and run. It's probably a trap. And finally, a city that's cooler than Paris, but without the insane crowds. 7. Toulouse, the underrated city of color and culture. Toulouse, France's most criminally underrated city. They call it La Ville Rose, the pink city. But don't worry, that's not because it's stuck in an eternal Instagram filter. The buildings here glow in shades of pink and orange, making you feel like you've wandered into a romantic watercolor painting. And unlike Paris, where people are sprinting like they're late for a baguette emergency, Toulouse has a much more laid-back vibe. This city is like a perfectly balanced French wine. Just the right mix of history, nightlife, and food that'll make you rethink every meal you've ever had. Speaking of food, you have to try cassoulet, a rich, slow-cooked dish of white beans, duck, and sausage that tastes like a hug from a French grandma. Pro tip: don't plan to do anything energetic afterward unless your idea of sightseeing includes napping in a park. Toulouse has all the charm of Paris without the Eiffel Tower, keychain hustlers, and overpriced cafes. It's a vibrant, colorful city where you can stroll along the Garonne River, geek out at the Space Museum. Yes, Toulouse is France's aerospace capital, and enjoy the good life without feeling like you're in a tourist stampede. Now, let's wrap things up with some final must-know travel tips for France in 2025. So there you have it. France beyond the Eiffel Tower, baguettes, and awkwardly attempting to pronounce croissant correctly. These hidden gems are proof that the best parts of France aren't always in the guidebooks or swarming with tourists taking 500 identical selfies. Whether you're hiking past pink rocks, sipping wine in a fairy tale village, or pretending to be royalty at Chateau de Chambord, you're in for a trip that's as magnifique as it gets. So ditch the tourist traps, embrace the adventure, and go where the croissant crumbs lead you. Because the best travel stories don't start with, "I stood in line for 3 hours at the Louvre." They start with, "I accidentally discovered the best meal of my life in a tiny alleyway." Before you go, make sure to subscribe. Because trust me, you don't want to miss out on more travel tips that will save you time, money, and maybe even a little dignity. And if you're hungry for more, check out my video on Never Go to These Tourist Traps. In Germany, visit these 5 places instead. Because bad travel decisions don't stop at the border.